Well, thank you again to those lovely sponsors. We'll name a few here as well. The Royal Panther Wrestling Club, Sealand's Carpetland, Sid's Concrete, Southwest Technical College, and Stanek Dental of La Crosse. Have we figured out what's going on?
Well, we did get a fall down there by Drank Igam. We'll bring that up to date at 132 for Prairie Sheen. He got a fall down there against Miles Narut. And then we do have, I believe it's going to be Drake Gazda is going to take on Brady Baumgartner here finally at 120 mat number 1. So we're going to leave the camera down there, even though we have a Prairie Sheen wrestler taking the mat on mat number 2, and that's actually a 6-pound match. So somewhere they got the computers, I think. It's always been a highlight for Ken and I when the computers get juggled up and track wrestling gives you about 3 different weight classes going at one time.
Yeah, the cart took off and passed the horse a while ago, I think.
Yeah, I know. It's nice that they have it, and it, like you said, brings these updated matches on deck, but then sometimes you get out of whack. So mat number 2, well, we better go down to mat 1, and Gazna does get the early first period fall there in 17 seconds. He pins Baumgartner from Prairie Sheen. So now we'll move into the center mat here as long as we have some live action going on there. And that's
So
Hunter
Radke coming up too.
Well, we'll come back there. I'll just leave it there until they get started. Then we'll come back to Radke because he's just getting back in action. But like you said, he's definitely on one wing. But we'll show a little bit of Hunter Reed's match here, the freshman at 106 for Prairie Sheen, as he takes on Gavin Knizer from Berlin. And right now he has him a lot of trouble.
Radke just took his headgear off and was walking away, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
Well, see, that one's not supposed to be up yet. They say it's at 126 is supposed to go up. So Radke's getting ahead of himself, as Reed did get ahead of us, and he scored that fall. And he's that was 103 into that period at 106. So it looks like we're debating on where track wrestling is to where we should be. Because right now we should have a mat number 1. We'll swing down there because that looks like that might be the one that gets in. No, we're going to stay down. Let's go down to 3 because I see Evan Solberg. Go ahead.
Yep, Evan Solberg and
Alex Sir from Moston Necedah. We're going to go down there, yep. You keep track of that one, and I'll watch these other 2s as we have on mat number 1, we have Matthew Baldick taking on Breck Peterson from Moston Necedah. That's at 126. We're going to have action at 120 in the center mat, but you have, that was not good.
I was going to try and get a name for that Moston guy again. And
I know, and then the guy who was running the computer didn't do a very good job, did he?
It did that on its own. That's Sewer,
Alex Sewer down there. So you keep watching that one. In the center match, we have another Brody Bancy from GET. He takes on Carter Jensen from Nakusa. Good, we already have blood there. So back to you, Carl.
Well, we're still, we're just over 30 seconds in. Both wrestlers still on their feet. They're sizing each other up. A few attempts and backouts. Evan is a big fireman's fan, but he's got a shoulder injury that he's been nursing all week, and you know, this wrestling season gets long. There was a suicide cradle attempt on Matt Wine just caught. He sure got out of that one in a hurry.
Yeah, so I just caught that too, and looked like maybe there was a takedown, but no escape.
You know, and all these guys started wrestling the second week in November, most of them, second, third week before Thanksgiving, and you know, we're well into February, get to the tournament trail, and you know, it's hard. Wrestling's it's a very physical, tough sport. And for you to make it through a year unscathed is pretty good. A lot of guys battling shoulders and knees and ankles.
The other sports are fun because they're outside and stuff with the fall sports and the spring sports. But the winter sports, like you say, they all start early in November and they still go into, you know, late February and into March. And it gets to, with all the holidays in there, it gets to be quite a challenge.
Yeah.
And as you said before, we look around the the building here today, and you see a lot of young men that are fighting their ways and taped up and trying to stay competitive out here, and still got that goal in mind of seeing themselves wrestling in Madison in a couple weeks.
Well, we're going to go second period on their feet. It was scoreless in the first. Basketball, I don't want to take anything away from any other sports, but, it only takes one ball to play basketball. It takes two to wrestle.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I had to adapt to basketball, though, Carl, because I've had 3 grandchildren now play the game and play it pretty well. Now I have a 4th one. Matter of fact, that's where I was last night, is watching a basketball game. So it's still fun.
Yeah, I had to joke around a little bit with our AD at school because they had an official call in for basketball saying he was unable to officiate a game, and they had a hard time trying to replace him, and they said, you might have to. I said, I don't know. If somebody gets knocked down, I'll probably start calling back points. I don't know if I can ref a basketball game.
Now, this is one thing, one of my, and then finally he does call, but one of my experienced officials said a long time ago, if you have a scoreless period in the first period and one of the wrestlers chooses neutral for the second period, you're automatically warning for stalling, because we're still into the minute into the second period and there's still no score. He finally warned, and that's too bad I say that like that, because he finally warned Evan for stalling.
Well, and both of these guys, they were both seated kind of in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Evan is 25 and 15. Alex Sewell is 30 and 14. Pretty evenly matched. There's a lot of respect back and forth with those guys, and that's where you see that in heavyweights, where they just can't take shots. So
well, he did finally get a shot, and it's going to be Alex Sewell getting the first points of the match.
This is not going to be good if he gets him over.
He's got a double arm bar, but it's more of an Oklahoma locked up that he's trying to run. Now he's trying to go back to the double arm bar. Either way, like you say, Evan's in a lot of trouble if it gets over.
Short time. We got 10 seconds left.
Get a fall here in mat number 2 is Carter Jensen from Nakusa, pins Brody Bancy from GET at 120. Down on mat number 1, Breck Peterson is leading 8-5 now as they wind down the second period there in their match at 126.
And we got Blaken from GET, Melman on deck. He's going to be stepping out on mat 2.
Yep, he's going to take on Eli Muckler. So as soon as Evan's match is done down there, we're going to switch to that one. But we're going to stay with Evan.
Just starting third period. Sewell electing to go down to start third, and he's already up to his feet. So he'll now advance 3-0. Just 10 seconds into the third period. And we're back on our feet again.
As you mentioned before, in the center mat, we'll have we'll keep an eye on that one for you here, as we know also Radke's match is coming up shortly here. He's on deck on mat number 1. But we are going to have a Richland Center GET match. It's Blaken, right?
Yeah.
All right. Ken got after me in the RC tournament because I kept calling him blocking. Jackson Blaken, the fine senior from Melrose, he's taking on Eli Muckler in mat number 2. They're on their feet as we keep track of Evans' match down there.
Well, we've got a minute to go. We're still on our feet down here, 3-0. Sewell leads Solberg. This is a quarterfinal match, so they both had byes in that round of 16.
Oh, and it turned away, and Blaken has got Muckler in a lot of trouble in a headlock. There was a fall down there as Matthew Badilla came back for Arcadia, and he scored a third period fall there with B4.56. And he moves on to the quarterfinals in a fall in the center mat there. 45-second fall for Jackson Blake, and the fine senior there moves on to the semifinals.
Well, Sewell with another takedown right on the edge of the cylinder. It's 5-0. There's 15 seconds to go, and it looks like Solberg is going to take the loss. It's going to be pretty tough to come back from this. He's got leg locked in, and he's going to ride his time out.
Got another River Valley wrestler taking mat number 2 here. That'll be Mason Schulte. But we're going to switch down to mat number 1 once you get done with Solberg's match, because he's coming back from an injury. He missed the clash last week. Noah Ratke, the fine junior for River Valley. He's wrestling Logan Conrad from Arcadia when we get a chance to switch to that, and he definitely has some serious moves going on there with that leg, his right leg, and just wish the best for the young man here. He's at the point here, just like there's a couple other athletes, just trying to get through the day.
Goes right down to his knees. I mean, you definitely tell he's in some pain. He's
protecting that knee. He's just looking for a way to get through this tournament today, which if he wins this match here now, he'd be in the top 4. So then maybe he'll just see if he can qualify his way out of here and get another week's recovery. But he's going against a fairly decent opponent from Arcadia, Logan Conrad. He's 19-23 on the year, but what do you get there for a takedown? I was looking away.
He was on his knees. The other guy kind of shot in. He went to a front head and spun.
Okay. So no way you know if he was 100% healthy. He's a quick young man.
Well, there was a guy not too long ago. I want to say it was the guy who wrestled Macy Kilty in the finals at D3. The last year she wrestled for high school. The guy didn't have any feet.
And
if I remember right.
That was the semifinal. That was one of my last tournaments, and that was my match to get to do.
Really?
That was intense. That was intense. Yep. Young man from Bayfield, Wisconsin. He was quite a little athlete, though, for the handicaps he was up against.
He didn't have hands or feet, was
it?
Neither
one.
Yeah. No. You know, and to make it to what match was that at State?
Yeah, that was semifinals at State. Yep. That he wrestled Macy. As Noah now comes real close to getting a fall here, we want to get to that real quick. And the other match that's not quite as good. I can't tell, did the ref slap the mat or?
Yep, it was pinned.
Okay. I know he's trying to protect his head so he didn't get kicked, but with good for Noah here as he gets through this match with a 1 minute and 33-second pin, as we'll switch to the center one match and catch Mason Schulte's match. And he's actually winning out here. I don't like that to sound like it's a surprise, but
we're just catching up to speed.
Just catching up. There you go. 6-2.
More of a matter of fact.
There you go. Yeah. And it's a good fact. He's leading 6-2 against Lucas Sampson from Wisconsin Dells. We'll continue watching that one. We'll also bring you up to date on mat number 3, and that's Gunnar Johnson at 157. He's taking on Lucas Stanley from Adams Friendship. That's now 3-2 in favor of Gunnar. I think he's out. Yes, he is out in front right now. And then down on mat number 1, I think that's what Carl's looking at. We actually have another feature bout down there. A couple of our sponsors. We have Lane Fry at 138 taking on from GET, taking on Mason Baumgartner from Prairie du Chien. We'll come down to that one after we leave Mason's here. Since we came to Mason's, we're going to stay here and finish it out with a minute left in the second period. There must have been a fall down there.
Johnson.
Yeah, for Gunnar. As he came back, he was losing in that match when we first noticed it. And then he scored a reversal, and then he got a fall from that with 22 seconds left. So that would be a 138 pin for him. Good job, Gunnar, down there at 157. So we're really scattered out again. We're from 138 to 157. And we should have a full slate of matches.
Avery from Prairie.
Yep. We switched away from Mason's match, and now he's the one on top, and he's the one getting back points here. So he has Sampson in a lot of trouble. This is the first time in a long time I've seen a Dells uniform with this much dark color in it. You know, we're usually used to that nice pale blue that they have in their uniforms. And today they're going with a fairly dark uniform. But we'll switch down to mat number 1 now, but we'll bring you up to date there as Mason Schulte got a pin with 16 seconds to go in the second period, and he moves on to semifinal action. In their feature match out here down on mat number 1, no score with 30 seconds to go between Lane Fry from GET Melmin and Mason Baumgartner from Prairie du Chien. A sophomore Fry taking on a senior Baumgartner from Prairie du Chien.
And one of Viroqua's foreign exchange students, Rodrigo Vasquez Camara, at 150, and he's up against
we'll get there.
Somebody from Prairie. I'm not sure the name yet.
There we go. Now you can stay with that name. It's Jackson Perkins is the bonus. Perkins, yep. He did a fine job last week for Prairie du Chien and scored some points at the Clash. But you can stick with that one. That'll be, we'll turn to that one as our feature bout since the other one's got blood time going. You watch that one, and I'll keep an eye on mat number 1.
Well, Perkins has had a couple of shot attempts, but Vasquez has been able to stop it with a front head series. This is the first time he's ever been on a wrestling mat was in November when practice started. So his judo experience has really helped. He does a lot of tosses.
That's what Ken was saying when we saw him earlier in the year. Going to give up the takedown here, though. It's one of those times a little inexperience should have taught you to bail out of there, right, Carl?
Yes.
It's in a lot of trouble right now. Do have a score down on mat number 1 as Baumgartner gets the first takedown as they end the first period. Still looking for action down there, as Carl said earlier. We're up to 165 down there, and Jeremiah Avery is supposed to be taking on Josh Roche from Watoma Wild Rose.
They've switched that. That's it's at 175.
Oh,
that's Swears and
okay.
Prairie.
Yeah, that's one of the better Prairie kids down there now. But Swears is one of Boston's best. That's Darren Jackson.
That's going to be a good match.
Oh no, that's not the one I was thinking. That's Darren Jackson. He's a freshman with a 2-9 record, taking on SB Swears. Swears, one of the better wrestlers from Boston Nakusa. Boston Nasida. Well, that would be quite a team though, Boston Nakusa.
Yeah, it would.
4-0 down there in our first place.
Let's switch down to mat 1.
Yeah, you got to switch there, and it's going to be a pin. So you better stay on mat 2.
Quick.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, we'll go back to mat 2.
Yeah. And 121 of so it'd be a 239 pin there for Mason Baumgartner, as he kind of dominated there. Swears is kind of dominated on the other end. So we'll kind of stay here in mat number 2 with
we've got a 9-0 score. Vasquez Camara is 11-11 and his record, and Jackson Perkins Prairie du Chien is 24-16.
I don't know how I get rid of that.
Nice double
square there. See, Vasquez Camara's name is too long, and that kind of messes up the screen. Okay, we're looking down on mat number 1 to join up down there.
He's in trouble of a tech fall. We've got 14-0.
There's a fall down at the other end for SB Swears.
Minute 29.
Minute 29 as he pins Darren Jackson from Prairie du Chien. And we turn back to our feature match, and that's going to, one way or the other, it's going to be over, isn't it? Yep, and there's the fall. So let's switch down to 1 here, as we have a River Valley wrestler on the mat. That might be Knockreiner. Yes, it is. Wyatt Knockreiner. He takes on Sander King from Black River Falls. Wyatt gets an early quick takedown, and now goes takedown release. Gets a snap down again here. It's where we do that bull rush move that you had earlier for I believe it's for one of the clums. He'd have a fall here, but he looking for something different. Now he's going to do it. There we go.
We've got Watoma Prairie, but he's putting his shorts back on.
I know they're jumping all over the place down there, but we'll stay down here on mat number 1. this point of the season, you somewhat tend to not see the need or the drive to go takedown release, and now Wyatt does go away from that and goes with a nice armbar turn, and he's got Sander King in a lot of trouble again, but he only gets 2 out of that. They're flying around so many different weight classes that some of these wrestlers are getting caught maybe not being in the room warming up, because we're at 150 down on one end and we're at 175 on the other end. And there's finally a jumping back and forth there, and Wyatt turns out to get a nice move in, and he gets the fall. So he'll move on there. That was a 35-second pin. So 125 is the pin time there. He moves on to the semifinals. We're finally going to switch it to mat 2. We got another River Valley wrestler coming out there. Well, you got a Viroqua wrestler coming out on there. So we'll stay down there since we just did a Valley match. We'll stay down there on mat number 1, and that should be Primer taking on Raider from Boston.
I wonder if we're running into that half hour.
That's a possibility, yeah. Now that you say that. Because down there on mat number 1, we're finally going to have Avery from Prairie Sheen. He's taking on Roche from Watoma. Roche did wrestle the first round. So that could be the half-hour issue, like you said, that they flew up there too quick. And you got some scoring down there with Blaine, so bring us up to date there, Carl.
Early takedown, he's running a cross-face cradle right now, trying to get the head connected to the knee, and now suicide over. And there is no movement from is it Raider? Eli Raider?
Yeah, Eli Raider, yep, the sophomore.
Knee in the side. I don't know, he looks pinned from here, but we're not on the mat.
I agree with you. It looked pretty good from up here, but it's hard to tell with that kind of move.
It is. So the official's still holding 3 now. He gives the 3 near fall, even though he did break his hands.
Yeah, he broke his cradle. Well, nice job, though, by Blaney. Got himself up on a good, solid early lead. We look at our center mat with Hunter Alt. No score there with Hunter Alt taking on Jaden Zimbauer from Boston. Still waiting down on mat number 3 for action down there. That could again be as far as, looks like a young man from Richland Center. I'm trying to remember his name and just not that familiar with a lot of these young gentlemen without the program helping me out. But he'll be at 175 wrestling, and I'm sure that's another time issue too. The young man from Arcadia, I believe, wrestled the first round. Primer looking for another turn, Carl, right?
Yep, but I don't know if he can get near fall with that, because the 2 supporting, no, I thought the shoulders.
Whatever.
It's different.
I think he's counting, and he did count. Yeah, he gave 3 near fall.
You can get near fall, but I don't know. There's something where you can't get a pin. But it's
the out of bounds rules have changed.
They're and they change every year.
I just wish they would go. We'll bring up Mason Jelinek. I knew I should know that young man. Down there wrestling on mat number 3. We're going to stay here Primer's match because he has a nice 8-0 lead as they start the second period. We'll let you know that Jelinek did get the early takedown, though. It is up 2-1 in his match. In our center match, no score.
They could clean up, and they've talked about it before. Basically, as long as there's one supporting point within the cylinder, anything's fair game. And that would just make everything so much simpler.
That's the way college is, and it's just, I fail to see the reason why high school can't go to it. As we're going to mention here, we'll bring you up to date real quick, because Hunter Alt got a nice move in there in the second period after a scoreless first period in 25 seconds. So 2:25, he gets his ticket to the semifinals. So back to Primer's match.
He's leading 8-0. We're 45 seconds into the second period, and we're right in the near fall criteria and the pin. So
wow, that ended quick. So let's move down to mat 3.
2:51 pin time.
All right, sounds good. Got Mason Jelinek down there with a fine 2-0 lead. Carl's trying to move slowly so he doesn't get dizzy. But he's coming. I thought he was going to get the tilt there, but he's still working on that arm bar. He leads 2-0 with 20 seconds to go against David Aguilar from Arcadia, a freshman. Mason, a junior, with a nice 18-15 record. Actually 19-15 if he wins. Well, he'd be 20-15. He'll pick up 2 wins by winning this match. 7 seconds to go here. Got to be careful he doesn't lock his hands around that leg. Looking at our next matches here, we're moving all the way up to 190 already in quarterfinal action. 165 in the center. Those aren't 65-pounders, Carl.
Well, it might be.
You think so?
If I had to guess, though, I think they're 44s.
That's what I was thinking, too. We're jumping around here, I guess, so we'll figure it out here in a second. Is Mason, as you're watching that match, he's going to start the second period in the down position with that 2-0 lead.
Well, quick shout out to St. Joseph Equipment, Sweet Valley Artisan, and Valley Fudge, the Bank of Ontario, The Place in Norwalk, Top Dogs Wrestling Club, and Cleary Trucking LLC, and the Torkelson Funeral Home, all helping you bring today's wrestling action from Richland Center.
Down on mat number 1, as you're still watching Mason Jelinek work from the bottom position on mat 3, we have Gunnar Kraus from Nakusa Assumption taking on Sullivan King from Black River Falls. In that matchup down there, still waiting to figure out who's going to go here in our center match. So we'll stay at Mason's matches. He's right now, David Aguilar has been doing a decent job of riding, and almost a minute into the second period here. Mason made one fairly good attempt to get to his feet, but after that it's been all Aguilar, but can't really say there's a whole lot of pinning action going on there either, Carl.
It's a lot of organized stalling. We just got, actually, Richland Center, Jelinek got called for stalling.
He did get warned, huh?
Which, I don't know if I agree. I mean, unless you're sitting with your elbows tucked in, sitting on your hands.
It's one of those, maybe, Carl, you just finally decided to call somebody, and I'd have to agree. Sometimes you start with the bottom guy. I don't know if it's the right place to start, but
it's better than that double stall call.
And we're all real close to a fall down here. Sullivan King is close to getting a pin there, as we did see Mason come out and get an escape. I thought we were going to have, and there did get that fall down on mat 1 as Sullivan King comes up with a pin with 18 seconds to go in the first period there. So he's going to move on to the semis. 15 seconds to go in Jelenek's match. So he stopped it for a stalemate. The wrestlers kept wrestling, and there for a second you thought Mason got taken down, but now we're finally going to do some action here. And I think what we've decided to do here in mat number 2, I'm going to decipher, is that they're just wrestling without the clock, because it's locked up at 165 and 135 as far as time. And
there's something going on with track.
Yep. So they're going to wrestle there. We have our fans helping out because, as Carl said, I think we're running into some issues with track and maybe the system's locking up on them, but Mason is still winning down there 3-1 now. There again, I don't know how. We're going to have to use Carl's cheat method here, figure out how he got that point.
He got stalling.
Well, he was bottom, must have had, it was a penalty, so it was stalling. There was a pin there in mat number 2 finally, and we're really in a bad way there because we don't really have an update at all from
Arcadia
track there, but we will tell you the young man from Arcadia got a fall there, and I believe that was in the middleweight, about 44. Mason now in his match is riding now with about 1:15 to go with that 3-1 lead. And on the other end, we have a 126-pound bout going on. Wow.
They got Aguilar for stalling, and Jelinek got a point.
Oh, he did? Okay, thanks for the update. But down on mat number 1, that's Caleb Wiseman. He's wrestling Mason Hurd and that's tied up 2-2 at 126 pounds. And now we're going to move up to the bigger weight class in the center match. So it's like, wow. The 175 on one end, this had to be a time issue down here. And with 126 down here, got to be time issues, and maybe that's what's throwing track out of whack. Is there's some lighter guys I see at the far end down by the scorers table warming up. You have a score down there that you got an escape going, right?
Yes, and
oh, now he's going to get the nice
was
take.
in trouble. Aguilar had kind of double hooks in front head, and he was able to get out of it, but he had a takedown, but then a reversal. We're still Perkins. Jelenek's leading 9-4, and time is going to run out on Aguilar.
Yep, and that's going to be the end.
Jelenek will be into the semis.
That 9-4 win, and he keeps his year going for the junior.
And it looks like we're going to have some heavyweights. Heavyweights or 215s.
Now the computer finally updated here. And it looks like now we're going to have a 138-pound bout going on mat number 2. Hurd down there in his match against Weissman from Adams Friendship is trailing 7-2.
We're going to go down to mat 1. We've got a Prairie.
Yep, I'd go down
Prairie
there.
Adams Friendship.
That's the only action we got going right now. We are going to have 138, which will be Classy from Wisconsin Dells taking on Wallner from Adams Friendship in mat number 2. But they don't seem to be getting that going up. And like you said, it's 215 scheduled to go down there on mat number 3.
Well, as we get ready to start the second period, I'd like to thank Tractor Central, the Vernon Electric and Richland Electric, Scenic Rivers, and Vestbach Oil and Propane, along with the Viroqua VFW and the Viroqua Dental Center. Thanking them for their sponsorship for the state tournament trail as we make our way to the Cole Center in a couple weeks.
Finally going to have action on all 3 mats get started again here as the one you're watching. Caleb Wiseman from Adams Friendship is leading Mason Hurds 9-3 now, and real close to scoring a fall here. He could just hold it. He's got a nice cradle in. He's going to roll through that. Going to pick up 3 near fall, so 12-3 there. No score in our center match, and that's Brody Wallner from Adams Friendship taking on Landon Classy from Wisconsin Dells. Then you have a 215 bout going down there, right?
Yep, that is Eric Rodriguez of Arcadia and Jaron Hansen of Mauston Necedah. Both wrestlers have 500 records. Rodriguez is 18-18, and Hansen is 21-21.
And gentlemen have seen some action this year.
Yeah. Now, the limit coming into today was 50. I think you couldn't have any more than 50 matches coming into today. And there were quite a few wrestlers in the 40s.
That's for sure, yeah. With a lot of these, team tournaments where you get 5 duels in one day, and then some of those big Christmas tournaments, it's amazing how many matches some of these young men get in. Still getting a lot of scoring down there now as Hurds come to life.
A nice reshot.
Yep. He's made this interesting now. He was trailing there by quite a bit, but now it's 13-9.
It doesn't look like Wiseman's got a lot of gas left in the tank.
Hey, he looked like in that period there there's a lot of wrestling here left, Carl. There's 37 seconds here in the second period, and now this is a match, 13-9, as Hurd has come back to make a run at him, and he's got some time to score some more points here. Our other matches, both of them are still pretty tight too. 0-0 still in the first period on mat number 2, and now 2-2 down there as they wind down the first period on mat number 3. And just as I say that, Hurd's in the danger.
They're going to stop that.
Going to stop that.
Yep. Double arm bars in. He's going to sit through.
He's got too much torque in the wrong direction on those arms. Finally, the end of the first period down there on mat number 3. Last 20 seconds here now. Wiseman comes to his feet again. But now one of those nice, they
Gotta
call
watch that defensive pin.
he was bridging there pretty good, but I think he actually even scored some back points out of that. Again, potentially dangerous. We'll see if those back points were there from the turn before. Must not have been. It was close. I saw him swipe once, but he didn't give it. Still 0-0. We've had a lot of first periods with no scores, and so far the officials are being
and they have similar records too. Wallner is 22-10, and Glassy is 21-14.
been kind of lenient with no stalling in the first period, but that was a pretty good return. Right on the edge of activity, but it was good. Starting the third period down there, and Hurd is still trailing 13-9, but he's trying to make a decent comeback here of it. Switch back here to get things current, and mat number 2 finally got a score in mat number 2, and now we got 2 scores, so it's 2-2. Well, if there finally was a penalty point there, must have been. Oh, wow. Wiseman, if he gets this, and he did, Hurd tried to reach in it too far, and now he's in a lot of trouble. He got himself overextended, and he just lateral and tossed him to his back and pinned him. So 103 left, so that would be a 4:57 pin for Caleb Wiseman as he advances to the semifinals for Adams Friendship. Been quite a few years since we've got Adams Friendship to come down this way for especially regional action. A lot of times you would see them for sectional action, but not for regional action. Different way they split up the teams this year. It's kind of interesting to see 2 super regionals in both the side of the SWC. For many years here now, the SWC has gotten used to wrestling each other for super regionals or regionals.
We're going to stay with mat 1 because we've got
young man from Prairie du Chien stepping out there at 144. Get you the name here in a second. That would be Drew Hurd as he takes on Alex Blasick from Adams Friendship. Both seniors here. Drew, a 32-13 record as he takes on Blasick, who just got another win in his 19-14 on the year. Drew had a pretty decent tournament last week for the Blackhawks at the Clash tournament. I believe he was in the, he ended up 7th for Prairie du Chien there. So a good day for him, the senior. Again, as we mentioned earlier, trying to advance out of here today as an individual, but also a lot of things for at least 2 of these teams to try to get out of here and go to the team tournament next Tuesday night down at River Valley High School.
Boston Nacita's Jaron Hansen just edged his lead up to 7-2 over Rodriguez of Arcadia. That's a minute left to go in the third period. That's down on mat 3.
Well, they finally got some scoring down there, huh? Just like in our center mat, it's 3-2 now in favor of Wallner from Adams Friendship. Hurd sitting on a nice double arm bar. He has Blasick from Adams Friendship in a lot of trouble. Just quite hasn't got the fall yet there.
He just doesn't have the arms quite as tight as he needed to.
And he's going to just finally roll through that, take his 3 in a 5-0 lead with 20 seconds to go there. Still 7-2 in the last 15 seconds down there for Hansen from Boston. Sophomore, like Carl had said, that both of those young men came in with 500 records, and it looks like Rodriguez is going to go under 500, and he's going to go to the backside of the bracket, and Hansen's going to continue on in these semifinals. 8-2 the final, Carl?
Yes.
Okay. Now Hurd trying to run that arm bar again. And he did get 2 swipes in there, so now he's going to have a 7-0 lead as we go to the second period. Still 3-2. A lot of wrestling in the center, Matt, has been on the feet. And they've maybe been pushing each other around a lot, but I don't think they've really come close to scoring.
We're going from 215 all the way back to 132 on mat 3.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Dells and Nakusa Assumption.
Yeah, that would be Nichols from the Dells taking on, I believe that was Bertring, but we'll see here in a second from Nakusa. 7-0 in favor of Hurd here yet. Yeah, it would be Jacob Bertling from Nakusa. He takes on Jack Nichols from Wisconsin Dells. And as Carl's right, we've dropped all the way back to 132. Did finally have a final there in mat number 2 as Brody Wallner from Adams Friendship did edge Glass 3-2 in that semifinal bout. And now they're going to go up to, I believe this would be Hayden Gillen from Boston coming on out here on mat number 2.
Yeah, that's it. And he's at 90.
Yeah, that's at 90, should be.
It's Randy's boy.
That's Randy's boys, right. He's having a really good year. Fairly decently ranked right now, but
he's a sophomore, right?
No, he's a junior.
Junior?
Yep. He's right now ranked in the. Oh, he turned away there. Hurd got the turn, another turn again, and he pinned with 59 seconds, so that would be a 301 pin that he got in the second period against Blazik from Adams Friendship. So Drew will move on to the semifinal action. Quickly looking here at 190. Gillen's ranked, I believe, in the top 5 in the state at his weight class.
Now we got that Conway from River Valley, the gentleman that had the majority of his face taped up, is back out.
Oh, and he still does have it taped up pretty good.
He's wrestling Gillen. Do you want to stay?
Yeah, we'll stay
on mat 1 because we got Prairie and Richland Center.
Okay, yep, that should be a good match. That's got to be, might even be a rematch from the Clash tournament. As Gillen's making quick work anyway of the young man from River Valley. And there's the pin.
18-second pin time.
Yeah, Hayden Gillen gets the pin there in 18 seconds. Still no score down there. That's Lenzendorf, Bryce Lenzendorf, the junior from Prairie du Chien, taking on Ethan Bodendine from Richland Center. They just, I believe, Hayden Gillen he's ranked 7th right now. It finally took me that long to get there. But they wrestled last week at 157.
Lenzendorf takes the early lead 2-0 with a takedown. Now he's trying to work a arm bar along the left side of Bodendine.
Lenzendorf, though, maybe they didn't wrestle. Lenzendorf ended up 4th, and Bodendine ended up 6th last week. Lenzendorf does get the early takedown and leads there 2-0. And then we're going to stay at 190, I believe, here in the center mat. On mat number 3, we went back to 132 down there. And I guess we did talk about that. That's Bertline. He's leading 3-0 from Nakusa over Nichols from Wisconsin Dells.
Brenninger is going to be wrestling on mat 2.
Okay. Well, we'll stay in this area and kind of fly between the two. I got to just looking.
It's like he knows where the weight room is.
Yeah, we're looking at the matchup here. Maybe we'll switch to Brenninger's match because I don't think it's going to be real long. So let's swing to that and watch the action there. And we'll come back to Hurd's matches. Lenzendorf and Bodendine's match in a second. Cole shoots in real quick with a nice double leg takedown. Locked up a cradle. As they anticipated, that didn't take long. So we're going to swing back and see the rest of the mat number 1. As you saw, Cole Brenninger got a 20-second pin. Still 2-0 in favor of Lenzendorf over Bodendine on mat number 1. Might even have we don't have a final down there. Cole coming in here, I believe he was without our brackets, I was believing he was seated third. It's a good weight class here. As we just saw Gillen go out there and get an early fall too. He's believed the number 1 seed in this weight class. Brenninger, one of the more experienced senior wrestlers for Richland Center. They're hoping to get out of the tournament here today. Looks like we're going to even go all the way up to 285 now. Well, those could be 215-pounders. Hard to tell. 5-0 score down there in mat number 3 with blood time. Lenzendorf now has extended his lead out to 4-0. He's got a cradle locked up, but right now not able to bring Bodendine back in bounds. We are at 285, they say, on the score clock here in the center, Matt.
I think that Black River guy bumped up.
Oh, that's right. He weighed in at 215 and they bumped him, yeah. There's only 7 wrestlers at
yeah, and he's one of the same. It was 6 before he jumped.
Yep. Well, it was either going to be 8 wrestlers at 215 or 7 at 285, so I think he thought his chances were maybe better up here. Because Bodendine did get on the scoreboard down there, got an escape.
They just announced that Brenninger had his 100th. I thought they said pin.
I think it was win. That would stand more to reason.
Yeah, that's. I
thought at first, I was like you, Carl. I thought at first he said pin, but then he came back the second time and said win. 5-1 down there now with Bodendine and Lenzendorf. Excuse me, Lenzendorf winning in that match. 35 seconds to go in the second period. A nice double leg shot in by Lenzendorf, and he secures that takedown and now leads 7-1 with 20 seconds to go. In the Dells match there in the middle match at 285, that's Eldon Hensley, the sophomore for Wisconsin Dells, taking on
Keanu Mathis.
Mathis?
Yep.
Thank you, bud. From Black River Falls. But Keanu got to escape right away. He got taken down, but he got to escape. And the young man from Prairie Sheen, Eldon Hensley, looked like he's got this could be a little bit of what he ate after weigh-ins is not setting well. Look down at the far end there, and that match might be over that quick too, as he just rolled him over. Bertling just rolled Nichols over, and with 101 left, so that would be a 459 pin. He moves on to the quarterfinal action for Nakusa. So we're kind of winding down here. Not totally sure what the agenda is here, if they're going to go into semifinals on both the backside and the front side, or do some action on the backside and then catch up with the front side. 150 we're going to down there on mat number 3 now, as Lenzendorf has a 9-2 lead right now. 9-3, excuse me, over Bodendine. 112 left to go in the match down there. Bodendine's going to have to get some big points here in a hurry.
We'll have a quick shout out to the Viroqua Village Market, Ray's Gas and Goodies, the Viroqua Wrestling Club, the Westby Truck and Equipment LLC and Wang Farms, the Westby Wrestling Club, and Westby Co-op Creamery, all helping send you guys virtually down to Richland Center today to watch as these young gentlemen try to make their way down to the Cole Center.
Yep, new action down on mat number 3. That's Landon Windsor. He's out to an early lead down there at 150 over Alberto Ortiz from Arcadia.
He's putting on a takedown clinic so far. It's 4-1.
Is he? All right. Last 25 seconds down here on mat. Oh, nice sweep single there by Lenzendorf. Secures the takedown and now has a 11-3 lead as we're in the last 15 seconds. He should be advancing on to the semifinal action. We're back in action in the center mat, and now it's 3-2 in favor of Ortiz from Arcadia as he got the takedown there. Now it's 4-2. Oh, that was, excuse me, I went to the wrong computer side there. 3-2 in favor of Maphis. There's the win down there, 11-3 for Lenzendorf. We're going to stay down there on mat number 1 because I see that big V stepping on the mat.
There was some miscommunication on mat 2. The coach wanted him to go neutral, and he said top, and then instantly got reversed.
Oh, that's good. DePietro, right?
DePietro.
He's taking mat number 1, and he's taking on GET, so I'll let you watch that one, Carl.
I want to say this was a rematch of last week's conference. I want to say this is Peterson. Yeah, Braden Peterson, freshman at 20-20, and DePietro, junior, 21-17. DePietro coming away the winner last week, and the early takedown just 15 seconds in. He's up 2-0.
225 pin there by Maphis as he came back after all the injury, or I would say sick time there, and he gets the second period fall there. Still 6-2 down on mat number 3 in favor of Windsor. We got an early takedown there, though, by Anthony, right?
Yes. Nothing. Now Peterson up to his feet. Almost their little scramble dogfight right now.
Going to stay at 285 in the center mat.
This is Jimenez from... Oh, no, it's... I can't think of his name from GET. I think it is. I think it's Cisco Jimenez.
We'll see here in a second. The computer will catch up. Carl and I are pleading poor information as we failed to get our program from the committee. Started out, yes, it's Cisco Jimenez from GET. He takes on Dawson Gordon from Boston at 285 there in the center circle.
He had a little bit of an upset win at conference over West Salem Bangor.
Okay.
I don't remember his name, but
he's got not too bad a record there, 27-14. I don't remember him from the Richland Center Invitational, but we had some pretty good heavyweights there at the Richland Center Invitational.
Yep. 35 seconds to go in period number 1. DePietro leading 2-0 over Peterson of Melman GET. He rides the left side looking for an armbar.
We got again another array of weight classes out here, 150, 165, and 285. Three GET wrestlers on the mat at once, too.
They got a lot of coaches. They can handle it.
There you go.
Well, Jimenez is going to make short work.
Yeah, he may not be out here much longer. Yep, there it is. That would be a 135 pin for him. So he moves on to semifinal action.
So Peterson's going to defer his decision to the third period, and DePietro will start number 2 in the down position.
7-4 down there in mat number 3 in favor of Windsor now. Now we're going to go way back down again. Here on mat number 2, we're going to go back to 126.
I'm not sure how he managed to do it, but he went from being on the bottom to locking up a near side cradle and getting a reversal. So it's 4-0 as he's looking for near fall and a pin.
If he can hook that leg, you really have it tight, Carl.
Kind of got everything reset. Now we're going back over.
He's got to hook that leg and pull it towards his head if he wants to get a really good lock. We're at 126 in the center mat. That's another GET wrestler, Gunnar Kremer. He's taking on Marty Platt from Wisconsin Dells. But Platt has got Kremer in a lot of trouble with a double arm bar.
He's holding 2 right now.
Kremer got pushed over on that double arm bar, but then he got out of it. But then he got taken back under control. Nine to 5 down there on mat number 3. 5-0 in mat number 2 in favor of Wisconsin Dells Platte.
So far in the second period, they've got stalling enough to stalling on Peterson. No, stalling on
that was on DePietro.
Giving
gave up
Peterson a point. But he's had a reversal and 2 near fall in the second period. It's 6-1, 30 seconds to go. We're going to have caution green. False start on the defense. 15-yard penalty.
15. Well, that's only 5. Come on. He's already in his Super Bowl mode.
I've been telling everybody, everybody's like, who are you going to watch? Who are you going to watch? I said, I'm going to watch Jason Kelsey in the box with Taylor Swift. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That, just supporting his brother, because he's a man.
See if he can keep his shirt on again.
Yeah, well,
he's in Vegas, though. Finally got a final down there, 14-7 in favor of Landon Windsor from GET as he'll move on in that match. We'll see what's up next down there. I believe they're going to go up to 175 down there now.
Well, we're starting period number 3, 6-1. We're going to be on our feet. DePietro leading Peterson of Melman GET.
Well, we're going to stay there on mat 1 with DePietro, but we are going to tell you got a GET wrestler and a River Valley wrestler taking the mat on 175.
And we've got a throw from Peterson, and DePietro's in trouble with near fall criteria right on the edge of the mat. So worst case, and the pin, the upset pin. Peterson, as he trailed 6-3 over DePietro of Viroqua.
Big move there for him. Anthony was in control of the match, but that's how a match can change that quickly if you can catch a move like that. And I'm not too sure if that might be Pete Peterson's youngest boy.
I believe it is.
A freshman. So you know he's got good technique. Came in with it anyway. Anthony's still live in the tournament. Now he's got a tough road to come back. If anybody can do it, I'd give him a good shot at. Down on mat number 3, thanks for going down there. We got Aaron Dunnigan from GET taking on Blake Brickle from River Valley. And right now that's 2-0 in favor of Dunnigan.
We've got Braden Lockington from Melman GET at 2:15. And Braden and John Young Yellow Feather Kilmer.
Yep, got a fall on our center mat as Marty Platt finally pins Gunnar Kremer, and that was 59 seconds left in this second period, so that would be a 3:01 pin time for him. So now we'll see we're going to jump there next. This is kind of a middleweight match. Look like it's coming up too here.
Lockington went right to work. He would have had almost the quickest, I think probably the quickest pin in the tournament so far. He had to reset, but still a 26 second pin, and that was his second attempt.
Well, we come down to him and Teak Perkins matching up later, because Blake Theory in that weight class is kind of, I would say, the standout there, ranked number 2 in the state right now.
Yeah. We have Vinnie Klum and Mason Romelli.
Yes.
Romanelli. Of Mawson Nacita.
Dropped to
Mawson Nakusa.
Yeah.
Nacita.
Yeah, I already got you saying Nakusa now. That was on me, Carl. Nacita.
Well, we're tied 2-2 on mat 3, the mat you're currently watching. We're starting the second period.
Yep.
Klum trails 2-0 to Romanelli.
Mawson Nacita, yep.
Then we went down to 38 on mat 1.
Yeah, that's Espen Pitts. I got to believe that's on the backside, a Russell back. but it's still a chance to qualify here today because we mentioned even though in the backside there, if you can get all the way back to 5th place, there's a chance that you could get a wrestle back into 4th place. Right now, that's Espen Pitts from Austin-Necedah, as he's taking on Gavin Tritz from Nakusa Assumption. Now, there's another name that if I said Tritz, you'd have said I just brought a Wisconsin Rapids wrestler onto the mat, but close enough. I'm sure maybe it's some sort of relation. Down on their mat, number 3, as we just mentioned, 5-2 now in that score between Brickle from River Valley, and he should be the one who was out in front, I believe, over Dunnigan from GET Melmin.
Yep. Clum staying really active on the bottom. It's still 2-0, but there's 25 seconds to go in the first period.
Yep. Deep shot here now by Dunnigan as he tries to get back in the match after getting an escape. Sit through there by both of them, and it's going to be coming out on top. It's going to be Brickle as he comes around and gets the takedown. 8-3 down there now in that quarterfinal action. Mat number 1, Pitts is out in front, 3-2 over Tritz, so the young Mauston wrestler out in front. So we got 2 Mauston wrestlers out there. Vinny now gets his choice, right? Second period?
Yep.
Gonna go up.
Gonna go neutral.
Starting the 3rd period down there on 3, and they're gonna go neutral too. 8-3 in favor of Brickle from River Valley as we stay down there. With Dunnigan comes in with a deep single leg shot. So far, Brickle countering it well.
It's a slap down by Romanelli, and he'll get another takedown, 4-0 as we're just 25 seconds into the second period.
Go out of bounds down there, still on their feet. Still 3-2 in the first place match. The mat number 1, not the first place match. 4-0, as Carl said, in Vinny's match. So far we've been surviving on the dashboard of track wrestling to keep us up to date. We'll try our darndest to get a updated program before hopefully we get into the semifinals to at least talk a little brighter, which is a challenge for both of us, Carl, but
it's a struggle.
But so far, that is one of the features of track wrestling is the dashboard and the recap. We can even, as the light comes on in the bulb a little bit, can even give you a brief shot at team scores, which we kind of told you from the beginning. We thought Prairie du Chien would be a team to watch here. And they have 123 right now. GET Melmin has 98, and in 3rd place is Austin-Necedah. So those are the 3 teams that we kind of highlighted from the beginning. As Vinny got on the scoreboard here, and he's in the match now 4-1. In our feature match, it's still 10-4 down there now with 26 seconds to go in that match. Vinny's down to the last 20 seconds. That's only in the second period, though, so he's still got another period. Last 15 seconds down there, though, in our feature match that we're watching right now. Brickle out in front, 10-4. Stalemate, they go back to their feet with 13 seconds to go here. Brickle just needs to avoid that big toss that we talked about in a couple of these other matches. There's the way how you avoid that with a nice double leg shot in deep. If nothing else, he can stay right there to get out of the period, and he does. 10-4, so you can switch to Vinny's match now, and we'll catch the 3rd period of that match. But Blake Brickle moves on to semifinal action with a 10-4 win. Back to you, Carl.
Well, Clum's going to give the escape up to Romanelli, 7-1 as they go back to their feet. Well, Clum tried a head throw attempt, didn't quite. It was more of a slow motion attempt. Wasn't able to get his hips turned. Romanelli capitalizing on that for his 3rd takedown of the match. and that's where we sit, 7-1, as Clum's looking for at least a 5-point move at this point.
He needs a big one now. He's got a minute 25 to go, so there's still time on the clock. Just got to get in his offense, and just as we say that, Romanelli got a nice single leg and got a dump out of it and gets another takedown. 9-1 now. Minute 10 to go.
We've got Stetzer down on mat 3 from Melman GET.
Yep, Jay Stetzer, sophomore. He's taking on Gage Steppenpole from Watoma Wild Rose.
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful, is right. But we'll stick with Stetzer as he gets the early takedown and leads 2-0. That's interesting. Of course, you got into some of those.
Clum hit a Granby.
Yeah, this could be big for him here.
So here's a 5-pointer right now.
Hold him right there and get those. Or, yes, turn to that. Oh, shucks.
He got a hip in, and now he's going to give up another reversal. 2 reversal, 3 near fall, 2 more reversal.
He had a nice move there that he was trying to swing and just get a straightforward reverse half, but he needed to keep his hips down, didn't he, Carl?
Yeah, he got overextended a little bit. Now they're going to make sure that they get the score right, because it was Vinny should have had 5.
Should have got 5 out of this. Might be pretty close
2
here now, yeah. So he's in it, but he's got to get going again now. But now it's a 5, an escape or a reversal and 3 back points. It'd be tied up. So he's got to get going right away.
He can hit another Granby again.
There you go.
Tie it up.
I like that idea. He's trying for it.
He's got an armbar locked in right now, looking for a wrist. Back to his knees. Up to his feet. They're going to stop that for potentially dangerous. Anytime you have a half in or an arm bar where you're unsupported, if you can go back to the mat. That's just a lot of shoulder injuries from
better word to use there is unprotected. He was unprotected to protect himself if they went back to the mat. So good call by the ref there. Even though that was Vinny's chance to get away.
Yeah, sometimes living to wrestle another match is better than.
Yep, agreed. Got a final down there, 8-6. Tritz wins down there on mat number 1 at 138. Pretty sure that was probably a wrestle back. As we're trying, I believe, get into the position where you'd call semifinals on the front side and on the back side.
Well, Clum's got 2 seconds left in the 3rd period, and he'll give it his best attempt. He'll fall just a little bit short in the quarterfinals and head back to the back side of things and try to get a backdoor entry into the 3rd or 4th place match.
We're going to swing down to mat number 3 and bring you up to date on that match. That's 4-1 right now in favor of Jay Stetzer over Zeltenpool.
Stetzer's going to get a fall here.
Well, he is. Just as I was catching you up to date, he's got him in big trouble. And there is the fall with 20 seconds into the 2nd period, so that'd be a 20-second pin. Now we got to decide where we're going to go next.
Well, that's going to be Watoma and Black River. And we've got Dells. We might as well, chances are, we're going to see somebody here of local. Nope, we don't have anybody of our actual quote-unquote sponsors. Speaking of sponsors, this would be a good time to talk about the Westby Co-op Credit Union, the Westby Rod and Gun and Rocked and Grill, Wright Insurance Agency, and the Riverdale Wrestling Club, and, of course, Ken Manning and Western Wisconsin Video Productions.
Who was that? Oh, wait, I got it here on my shirt.
He's got a lot of sponsors, a lot of great sponsors. You'd think he could afford better help than us.
Yeah, I would think so. As Carl said, we're kind of not a lull in the action. It's just it's our major sponsors, and I'm the impression of looking at the athletes out here, not to belittle them any. I'm thinking most of these are probably to catch up on our backside of the. None of them really consolations now because they're all qualifying matches, but we're on the backside of the not so much championship side for advancement. So these young wrestlers back here are trying to advance as we get a fall down there on mat number 1. And that was the young man, that's that name that...
Young Thunder.
Yeah, Carl just loves
DeMarcus.
that. DeMarcus Young Thunder. A freshman too, so the freshman advances on and keeps going. And he's got another one of his teammates coming on after that. Then in the center here we have Cornwell, a freshman from New Acusa Assumption, as he takes on Brady Abbott's 2-0 score in that in favor of a young man from Watoma Wild Rose. And then in our mat number 3 down there, we have Nicholas Esteban from Arcadia. He's losing to Sam Richland right now from Wisconsin Dells. And that's a 6-3 score down there, just winding down the second period. Now coming back to mat number 1, we moved up to 175 on the, does say quarterfinal side, but I suppose that's quarterfinal of the...
could be consolation quarters.
The backside. And that would be Yvonne Ravi from Black River Falls as he takes on Ben Green from Berlin. Haven't seen a lot of Berlin athletes out here today. I think their numbers were kind of down anyway. But as we mentioned before, a fine wrestler for Richland Center, Ryan Dobbs, and just a fine young individual here helping coach the Berlin squad. So still not a whole lot of local interest or sponsor interest out there right now as far as teams. So we're going to maybe just give you a few seconds here to just watch the wrestling action, and we'll go from there and bring you back up to date. Okay. See if you can, as long as you're down there, see if you can hit them up for some programs. Carl's going to make one of those journeys to see if he can get us some programs. We had a fall here on mat number 2 as we're still wrestling here on the consolation side. And that would be the young man Brady Abbott's from Watoma getting that. A lot of good wrestling to come, as we mentioned before. Just trying to get ourselves moved around and set up for the semifinals on both the championship side and on the consolation side. That appears to be, we'll see what, as long as we've got a little time here, I'll see if I can pull up some information and see what it says as far as event schedule. That didn't give a whole lot of highlights, so we're going to go pick a bracket and see what a bracket looks like right now. And that appears to be what we're doing. We're set with our semifinals, and we're trying to get set to where we will have semifinal action in the backside of the tournament here. As we mentioned before, everything still comes down to you're still in this tournament until you get 2 losses. So some of these young individuals wrestling right now on the backside of the brackets, if they get their second loss, they're out of the tournament. But the other ones can continue on and still have a shot at that 5th place match. So we will be seeing a lot of those quarterfinal action matches coming back into play here too. We might even, I would anticipate that maybe they'll do that round before they, then we would be set up for the semifinals. Is what they're looking for there, is to be in the semifinals on both the front side and the back side, so that we can get into the 1st and 3rd place matches and 5th place matches going on. Did get a fall here in the middle mat, and that was Ryan Weaver from Adams Friendship. He gets the fall for Black River Falls. No, that would have been Wyatt Moses, got the fall there. And he moves on in the consolation side. Down on mat number 3 at 157, we have Nicholas Esteban. as he's wrestling Sam Ervelson from Wisconsin Dells. 14-5 down there. That's the match you're watching right now. We're going to switch it here to mat number 2. And that will be, I believe this is the first, I don't know why this is taking so long, but this is the first time we saw Braden Kleppe today from Richland Center. And he will be taking on Dalton Melvin from Watoma Wild Rose. And this should be championship quarterfinal action. And I know this is the first time I've seen Braden wrestle today, so we'll bring you the highlights of that match at 285 as Braden gets the first takedown. Reminds me, too, we must still have some semifinal matches quarterfinal matches as Braden gets a nice barbed wire in there. He could end this match real quickly here with Melvin, a freshman. He's got him in a lot of trouble and got him pinned to his back. And there's the fall. So 118 left, so that would be 42-second pin for Kleppe. He moves on semifinal action and basically puts himself, as we talked about earlier, if you get into that, quarter semifinals, you're already in position to advance for sectionals. You just got to make sure you don't get bumped out of there. And it's, as far as seedings is concerned, it's nice to get into the championship match and kind of bonify yourself at least a third place finish. Have yet to seen a few good kids at 280, even 215. Have yet to see Blake Theory here yet in quarterfinal action, and even Teague Perkins, which should be wrestling here soon. Because now we're look like we're going to jump to quarterfinal action at 157 down there. We'll swing down there with that Purdy Sheen taken into action down there. And I don't move quite as smoothly as Carl does, but that's 157-pound action that you're seeing down there on mat number 3. And that should be, we'll see, I'm thinking it's at 190. That would maybe be, I'm guessing Avery, but I'm not totally sure. He looks like he's wrestling a pretty aggressive, that would be Jack McEacham, which I believe, I think he won his first match. He takes on Jacob Martin from Berlin, pretty decent sophomore with a 31-6 record. So Eacham is just 18-23, but he's got a tough opponent in here in Jacob Martin, and that's got to be championship quarterfinal action. Down here at 175, we have Ivan Ravi taking from Black River Falls. He's losing in the last third period, 13-5 to Ben Green from Berlin. So we got 2 Berlin wrestlers on the mat right now. And it looks like we're taking a break on mat number 2. There's a fall down there from Jacob Martin as he gets the pin in the first period in 107 over Jack McEacham. And McEacham will go to the backside wrestlebacks. So he just said we're doing consolation wrestlebacks that we're going to start them. We're going to have a young man from River Valley stepping out on mat 3, so we're going to leave the camera right there. That's the only action that we've got going on right now is on mat number 1, and that is the match between Ivan Ravi from Black River Falls taking on Ben Green from Berlin. Green right now winning in that match 15-5. Like I said, we have a young River Valley wrestler warming up down there, but doesn't appear that he's going to take the mat right away. So we're going to at least give you something wrestling to watch down here on mat number 1. And that's the only mat with activity going right now. So instead of just having dead mat space and Kirk space, you at least get to see some wrestling as Ravi comes around and finally gets some nice points of his own to get back into this. But it's only 10 seconds to go That official, he's hard. Man, that kid got nailed for stalling in less than 10 seconds. But final's going to be 15-7 in favor of Green from Berlin. So now we're going to see here. Listen here, and we're going to stay here on mat number 1 because I told you I hadn't seen Teague Perkins all day, and now it appears here that he's stepping out here, going to be on mat number 1. And let me stand up and see if I can adjust myself here to see that we got good camera location on this. As Carl's still down there trying to find us some programs. Teague Perkins here taking the mat for the first time today. And he will take on, and we'll get a name here in a second, but he's going to take on a young man from Wild Rose, Watoma Wild Rose. And that would be Lindell Silverio, a freshman from Watoma Wild Rose with a 0-2 record, taking on Teague. So a young man from Watoma Wild Rose, he picked a tough place to start in this tournament. And Teague gets the early takedown and is out to a 2-0 lead. Now trying to look for a bar arm, and he just kind of rolled him over and has him in a lot of trouble here right away. Teague coming off an injury here, and he needs just to get on the mat and get off as quickly as possible, and he does with a 40-second pin. And that gives him a chance to move on to semifinal action, and he'll be taking on Lockington from Mel Min. That would be a matchup between the 2 and the 3 seed. So now it looks like we're still trying to decide where we're going to go next and who we're going to go next with. Or maybe if we're going to go. So why don't we just take a short break here, Carl, and shut everything down for a second until they decide to wrestle. They said they weren't taking a break, but there's nothing to really talk about.
I did talk with the head table. We're not going to get brackets. They're having issues with track, so they're going to reset things. So not really a break, but as soon as they get track figured out, then we're going to get going again.
Okay, and they aren't really able to print brackets then, huh?
No.
Well, I guess that's what it is.
Well, so
far track has kept us alive. But we can still take a break on the recording, right?
Yeah, we'll take a break. Those of you that are watching the tape delay, we'll be right back with wrestling action. For those of you watching live, you guys will just have to watch a mat. So,
okay.
We'll be back after this.